Welcome back to the deep dive. Today feels a little bit different, doesn't it?
It does.
Usually we are up at 30,000 feet looking at the big picture of technology or society, maybe, debating the philosophy of the future. But today we are landing the plane. We are taxiing to the hangar. We are popping the hood.
We are definitely getting our hands dirty today. It is a
Hmm.
bit of a shift in tone, but I think a necessary one.
Yeah,
We're treating this session like a masterclass. We're the instructors, and you, the listener, you're the learner. And we are not just talking theory today. We are looking at a blueprint.
exactly. A
Yeah.
blueprint. We're diving into a very specific, very high stakes document. It's the NIST Internal Report 8596 IPARD. That
I,
stands for the Cybersecurity Framework Profile for Artificial Intelligence, or the Cyber AI Profile for short. Now, that sounds like a mouthful of government salad.
it does, but it's actually one of the most practical documents coming out of the National Institute of Standards and Technology right now.
This is-
This is the initial preliminary draft, which means it's cutting edge.
It's fresh.
It's very fresh. It's the government trying to figure out how the industry effectively lives with these systems we've built.
Right.
It's where the industry is heading, not just where it has been.
And we aren't trying to boil the ocean today. The document is massive, but we're focusing on one specific section, Clause 2.6, the detect function.
The detect function. This is where the rubber meets the road.
Right, because you can have all the governance in the world, you can have the best policies written down on paper, you can have ethical guidelines framed in the lobby, but if you cannot find the attack when it's happening, or if you can't spot the anomaly before it becomes a disaster, none of that paper matters.
Precisely. Detect is about awareness. It's the eyes and ears of your cybersecurity posture. And when you introduce AI into the mix, both as something you're protecting and as something you're using to defend yourself, the concept of detection changes completely. It's no longer static.
So here's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to break down Clause 2.6. We're going to look at the two main categories NIST lays out: continuous monitoring and adverse event analysis. Basically watching the system and then figuring out what the heck just happened.
And we're going to do this through three specific lenses. NIST calls them focus areas. If you remember nothing else from today, remember these three words: secure, defend, and thwart.
Let's unpack those real quick before we get into the weeds, because they sound similar, but in the context of this document, they mean very different things. Start with secure.
Secure is about protecting the AI system itself, protecting the model, the data, the infrastructure. This is your defensive shield around the asset.
Okay. So guarding the AI. Then we have defend.
Defend is about using AI to help us, using AI to detect the bad guys. It's the force multiplier.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we use machine learning to detect anomalies on the network or, parse through logs faster than a human could. It's AI on the side of the angels.
And finally, thwart, which sounds like a comic book sound effect, but it's serious business.
Thwart is the active side. It's about stopping AI-enabled attacks. This is where we deal with the bad guys using AI against us. Thwart is about countering those specific AI-driven offensives like deep fakes or automated hacking tools.
Okay, secure, defend, thwart. We're going to apply those to every topic we touch. So, instructor, start us off. What is the detect function in the world of NIST, and why is adding AI to it such a headache?
So the core definition of detect, or DE in the framework, is the process of finding and analyzing possible cybersecurity attacks and compromises. In a traditional network, say back in the early 2000s, this is fairly binary.
Right.
Is there traffic on a port that should be closed? Is there a file with a known virus signature?
Red light, green light. You had a mugshot, and you looked for the guy in the mugshot.
Exactly. But with AI, we enter gray zone. The source material highlights this beautifully. It says AI behavior is contextual, dynamic, opaque, and harder to predict.
Opaque is a scary word in security.
It's the scariest word. It means you can't always see why the system did what it did. In traditional software, if code fails, you can usually trace it back to a specific line. Oh, there's a syntax error on line 402.
Yeah, you can debug it.
You can debug it. With AI, specifically deep learning and large language models, the decision-making process is hidden inside layers of mathematical weights. So black box.
Right.
It's not just about a firewall blocking a packet. It's about model drift. It's about hallucinations. It's about adversarial inputs, where someone tricks the AI into doing something bad using input that looks totally normal to a human.
So we aren't just looking for a broken lock on the door. We're looking for someone whispering the wrong secret code word to the butler, and the butler suddenly deciding to burn the house down.
That is a surprisingly accurate analogy, and we have to catch that whisper in real time. That's the challenge of Clause 2.6.
Let's get into the roadmap. NIST breaks detect into two categories. First up is continuous monitoring. That code is DECM. This covers watching the wires, the people, and even the hardware.
Correct. Continuous monitoring is the always-on surveillance of the digital and physical estate.
And the first subcategory here is DECM-01, networks and services. The requirement is simple. Networks must be monitored to find potentially adverse events, but the execution is where it gets spicy. Let's look at the secure focus area here. NIST lists this as a priority too. They recommend a separation strategy.
This is a fascinating architectural decision. The recommendation is to track, log, and monitor AI system traffic separately from your other network traffic.
Why? I mean, is AI traffic that unique? Data is data, right? Zeros and ones?
You would think so, but the pattern of the data is distinct. Think about what a standard employee does. They send emails, they browse the web, they access the database. It's relatively low bandwidth, sporadic bursts.
Okay.
Now think about AI training.
Massive data sets moving all at once.
Huge payloads, terabytes of data flowing into a GPU cluster. Or think about inference when the AI is answering questions. That can be high-frequency, low-latency API calls. If you mix that heavy, weird traffic in with your standard email server traffic or your HR database queries, you create a massive amount of noise.
It's like trying to listen to a conversation in a library while a heavy metal band is practicing in the corner.
Exactly. If an adverse event happens, a data exfiltration attempt where someone is stealing your customer list, you need to know immediately. Was this a human user downloading a file, or was this an automated AI agent sucking data out of the system? By separating the traffic, literally VLANs or separate pipes,
Yeah.
you can baseline normal AI behavior
Yep.
versus normal human behavior.
So you separate the lanes on the highway, trucks in the right lane, cars in the left. That way, if a car starts driving like a truck, you spot it instantly.
That's a secure focus. Visibility through segregation.
Now let's flip to the defend focus for networks. This is marked as priority 1 high priority. This is about using AI to watch the network.
This is the opportunity to move from reactive to proactive. Traditional monitoring waits for a signature match,
The mugshot.
the mugshot. AI monitoring analyzes behavior. It looks at the user and the machine in real time and asks, is this weird?
Weird is subjective, though.
For a computer, weird is a mathematical deviation.
Yeah.
But there's a catch, and NIST is very specific about this. It's not just about deploying an AI watchdog. It's about agent management.
Agent management, what do you mean?
If you're using AI agents to defend your network, who's watching the agents?
Who watches the watchman?
Literally. The text says we need to monitor defense agents to ensure they are still effective over time. We talked about drift earlier. AI models get stale.
Right.
The environment changes, but the model doesn't. Or worse, the model can be tricked. If your AI guard dog falls asleep or gets confused, you're wide open.
So if someone feeds the guard dog a steak to keep it quiet.
You wouldn't know because the green light is still on. So defend isn't just set and forget it. It's deploy and constantly audit. You have to test your defenders.
And then we have the thwart focus, also priority 1.
This is the threat landscape. Standard practices apply, but the stakes are higher because AI acts fast. And the expert analysis here is critical. If you aren't monitoring the network specifically for AI behaviors like rapid-fire automated probing or subtle pattern manipulation, you miss the predictive capability.
Can you explain predictive in this context? What does that mean?
Sure. A human hacker might poke around a network for days, looking for a door. An AI tool can scan thousands of ports in seconds, find a vulnerability, and exploit it before a human analyst has finished their coffee.
Wow.
If you aren't monitoring for that speed and that specific signature of automated probing, you are waiting for the crash instead of seeing the car swerve.
So for networks, the takeaway is segregate the traffic, use AI to catch AI, but don't trust your defensive AI blindly.
Spot on.
Let's move to the physical world. Topic 2. DECM-02, monitoring the physical environment. Now, usually when I think of cybersecurity, I'm thinking code, not concrete. But NIST calls out something very specific here for the secure focus.
They do. They specifically mention GPU clusters and shared racks.
The heavy iron.
The engines of AI.
Yeah.
We have to remember that AI isn't magic. It's physics. It requires massive compute power.
Yeah.
That generates heat, a lot of heat.
Yeah.
and it consumes a massive amount of power.
So we are monitoring the thermometer. That feels like facilities management, not cybersecurity.
It is both. And here's why this is a cybersecurity issue. If an
Mhm.
attacker wants to take down your AI, say, a denial of service attack to stop your fraud detection system from working, they don't necessarily need to hack the code
They can just pull the plug.
or tamper with the environmental controls. If they can hack the HVAC system or the power regulation software and cause the GPU cluster to overheat, the safety shutoffs kick in.
Oh.
The hardware protects itself by shutting down. The AI goes offline.
That is incredibly low tech but effective. It's like James Bond cutting the red wire.
It is a legitimate attack vector. Tampering with physical attributes can disable defenses. If the cooling is messed with, the AI stops working. So continuous monitoring means watching the temperature gauges just as closely as the firewall logs.
That brings a whole new meaning to sweating the details.
Indeed. And under the thwart focus, this is priority 3. It's standard physical security, but the context is new. These are high-value targets. Stealing a hard drive from a generic server is one thing. Compromising a $1 million GPU cluster, training a proprietary model, is another level of corporate espionage.
It's the crown jewels.
Exactly. You don't leave the crown jewels in a room with a cheap lock.
All right, let's move from hardware to the wetware, the people. Topic 3, DECM03, personnel and technology usage. Monitoring what people do.
This is always a sensitive topic, surveillance of employees, but in the age of AI, it's critical.
Under the Secure Focus Priority 2 NIST talks about internal usage, and this is something I think every company is grappling with right now, shadow AI.
Absolutely. The requirement is to monitor personnel usage of both internal and external AI tools.
This is the classic scenario. I have a deadline, I need to summarize a confidential meeting, so I paste the transcript into a public chatbot.
And you have just committed a data breach.
It feels so innocent, though.
It does. But the source material explicitly warns about data leakage, watching for the sharing of sensitive data into public models. You cannot secure your proprietary data if your employees are feeding it into a public model to save 10 minutes on an email. Once that data is in the public model, it might be used for training. It might be regurgitated to another user.
Hey, chatbot, tell me about Project X. And it answers because I fed it the info last week.
Exactly. Monitoring here isn't about being Big Brother and checking if you're shopping on Amazon during work hours.
Right.
It's about preventing intellectual property suicide.
Right.
You need to know, is data leaving our secure perimeter and going to an unvetted AI provider?
Now, let's look at the defend focus for personnel. Priority 3. This one sounds a bit more optimistic. It's about AI helping the people.
It is. This is about AI as the force multiplier. The text talks about using AI agents, or even teams of agents, to monitor the network and route issues to the correct human analyst.
So instead of me staring at 1,000 alerts, the AI says, hey, these 900 are noise, these 99 are routine, but this one is weird. You should look at this.
Exactly. It's about efficiency. AI generating alert summaries so humans don't burn out. Burnout is a massive security risk.
Yeah, it is.
Tired analysts make mistakes. They miss things. If AI can handle the Tier 1 triage, the humans can focus on the complex, novel threats.
But then we get to the thwart focus for personnel. Priority 2. And this is the stuff of nightmares.
The human element. Personnel are targets. We've always known about phishing, but NIST specifically calls out AI-enabled phishing and deepfake attacks.
Deep fakes, we hear that word a lot, but in a corporate security context, what does that actually look like?
We are moving past the days of the Nigerian prince email with bad grammar and misspellings.
Right.
We are entering an era where you might get a voicemail from your CEO, sounding exactly like your CEO.
Hey, I'm stuck in a meeting. Can you authorize that wire transfer? I need it done now.
Precisely. The cadence, the tone, the specific idioms they use AI can clone all of that from a few YouTube clips of the CEO speaking. Or a video call where the person looks and acts like your IT director, asking for your password.
That is terrifying because we are wired to trust our eyes and ears.
It exploits our biological trust mechanisms. The risk is that these attacks can introduce malware or credential theft with a much higher success rate than traditional social engineering. Monitoring needs to be sensitive enough to catch these sophisticated attempts. We need to be looking for indicators of AI generation in communications.
So detecting the tells of a deepfake becomes part of network monitoring.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Audio artifacts, video glitching, metadata inconsistencies. We have to train our systems and our people to spot the fakes.
Moving on to topic 4, DECM 006, external service provider monitoring. This is the supply chain issue.
The API economy.
Right. Under this secure focus, this is priority 2. Most companies aren't building their own massive models from scratch. They are renting them. They are calling APIs from the big tech giants.
Correct. And the risk here, as stated in the source, is simple. You don't own the model. You are sending data out and getting answers back. You must monitor the API traffic to identify adverse events coming from their side.
From the provider side, that's
Yes.
a twist. We usually think about securing what we send to the API. We don't always think about checking what the API sends back.
Think about it. What if the provider is compromised? What if the model you are renting has been poisoned? Or what if a man-in-the-middle attack modifies the answer on its way back to you?
So I ask the AI for code to secure my database, and it sends back code that actually opens a back door.
Exactly. If you aren't monitoring the responses coming back from that API, scanning the generated code, checking the text for malicious links, you are inviting a Trojan horse into your application.
Oh, wow.
Trust but verify applies to your vendors too, especially when your vendor is a black box AI model.
Okay, instructor. We've covered networks, people, hardware, and vendors. Now we arrive at what looks like the heavy hitter of this section. Topic 5. DECM Zone 9, monitoring hardware, software, and runtime.
The guts of this system.
This is the only section where all 3 focus areas, secure, defend, and thwart, are listed as priority 1, high priority across the board. That screams pay attention to me.
It should. This is the frontier of AI security. This is where the battle is won or lost.
Let's start with secure. Priority 1, the text mentions autonomy risk.
This is the game changer. AI is moving from chatbot to agent. Agents can do things. They can autonomously create and execute their own code.
Wait, pause. Machines writing code and running it, without a human saying yes.
That is what advanced agents do. They solve problems. Sometimes solving a problem involves writing a Python script to process data or changing a configuration file.
So we have code writing code.
And that means we need a totally new kind of monitoring. We need to track actions taken by AI, not just humans. If a user account suddenly starts executing PowerShell scripts at 3:00 a.m., that's suspicious. But if an AI agent does it, that might be its job. Or it might be a hallucination. Or it might be a hijack.
So how do you tell the difference?
You have to monitor inputs and outputs. The text specifically calls out adversarial inputs and anomalous behaviors. You have to watch the instructions going into the brain and the actions coming out of the hands.
Let's look at defend here. Also priority 1,
This is the counterbalance. Superhuman speed.
fighting fire with fire.
If the attacker is an AI that can write exploit code in milliseconds, a human analyst cannot compete. We are biologically too slow. We need to use AI to flag anomalies and correlate suspicious behaviors faster than humans or old automated tools ever could. We need machine speed defense to match machine speed attacks.
It's an arms race.
It is. And finally, thwart, priority 1.
The text lists attack vectors, adversarial inputs, data poisoning, model evasion.
This is where the battle is fought. If an attacker can poison the data slip, a bad fact into the training set, or use an adversarial input to trick the model into bypassing its own safety filters, they win.
Give me an example of adversarial input in the runtime.
Imagine an AI that processes insurance claims. An attacker submits a claim with an image of a car crash. To a human, it looks like a dented fender. But the image has been subtly manipulated at the pixel-level invisible noise that tricks the AI into classifying it as total loss, payout maximum.
Wow, so they are hacking the perception of the AI.
Exactly. Detecting these subtle manipulations in the runtime environment while the AI is thinking is incredibly difficult, but it is essential.
It sounds like the wildest part of the document. Machines writing code, other machines trying to catch them, and humans trying to figure out how to referee the match.
That is exactly what it is, and that is why it is priority 1. If you lose control of the runtime, you lose the system.
Okay, that wraps up the continuous monitoring category. We're watching everything. Now let's move to the second major category, adverse event analysis, code DEAE.
This is the making sense of it all phase. The alarm has gone off. The continuous monitoring picked up a spike. Now, what does it mean?
Topic 6, DEAEA02, analyzing the event. The requirement is to understand what is actually happening.
Right, analysis.
Under Secure Priority 2, it talks about characterization, specifically analyzing instances of adversarial inputs.
This goes back to the opaque nature of AI we discussed. If a traditional web server crashes, you look at the logs, you see a buffer overflow, you know what happened. You fix the bug.
Simple cause and effect.
But if an AI model outputs a hate speech tirade or releases confidential data, you have to ask, why? Was it a prompt injection attack where someone tricked it? Was it a flaw in the training data? Or was it just a random stochastic hiccup, a roll of the dice that came up snake eyes?
So characterizing the event is detecting the type of failure. Is it a bug, a feature, or an attack?
Exactly. And under defend, we have the noise problem again, priority 2.
Noise chasing. I like that term.
It's a huge waste of resources. An AI defense tool might flag 1,000 things as suspicious. If 999 of them are just weird but benign, your analysts stop paying attention. That's alert fatigue.
And the text mentions verification.
This is crucial. We need human review to supplement AI actions. You don't want to shut down your business because your defensive AI hallucinated a cyber war. You need a human to look at the analysis and say, yes, that is a real threat, or no, that's just the marketing team uploading a huge video file.
And thwart, priority 2.
Analyzing events specifically for indicators of AI usage. This is forensic work. Is the attacker using AI? Are we seeing patterns that are too fast for a human?
Why does it matter if the attacker is using AI? A hack is a hack, right?
Not quite. If you know they're using AI, you know they can scale, you know they can change tactics instantly, it changes your response strategy.
Ooh.
If it's a human, you might try to block their IP. If it's an AI botnet, blocking one IP is useless. You need to change your logic.
Topic 7. DEAE03. Correlation. Connecting the dots.
This is where defend jumps back to priority 1 high priority.
The text mentions teamwork, a team of AI agents.
This is the future of SOCs, of security operations centers. We aren't just looking at one screen. We have one agent monitoring the network, another monitoring the endpoints, laptops and phones, another validating actions. They work together.
Like a digital immune system, white blood cells talking to T cells.
Exactly. And data aggregation. Using AI to scan massive datasets logs from the firewall, the cloud, the physical security, the endpoints, and correlating that info to give a clear view of the threat landscape.
Because humans are bad at correlating a million data points.
We're terrible at it. We get overwhelmed. AI excels at it. It can see the constellation. We just see the stars.
Moving to topic 8, DEAE04, impact and scope. How bad is it?
Here, secure is priority 1 high. And there was a very stern warning here.
Ground truth.
Yes. Scope estimates generated by AI should be cross-checked with ground truth data via human review.
So do not blindly trust the AI's damage assessment.
Never. If an AI tells you, don't worry, only 5 files were compromised, you cannot just accept that. The AI might be hallucinating. It might be compromised itself. It might be lying to protect itself, if that's part of its objective function, effectively.
They're just wrong.
Or just wrong. You need to verify against hard logs. Don't let the AI grade its own homework.
And under thwart priority 2, we have scale.
Understanding that AI-enabled attacks can scale up massively. A human hacker can only break into so many servers at once. An AI botnet can attack 10,000 targets simultaneously.
It's a swarm.
It is. The scope of an AI attack is fundamentally different. It can impact the organization's ability to even implement prevention measures because you are just overwhelmed. You are fighting a hydra.
Topic 9, DEAE06, notifications. Who do we tell?
Communication is key.
Under defend, priority 2, the keyword is explainability.
This is crucial. It is not enough for the AI to say bad thing happened.
Right.
The AI needs to say, I am 85% sure a bad thing happened and here is why. Context and confidence scores.
That confidence score seems so important. There's a big difference between there is fire and I think I might smell smoke, maybe.
Huge difference. And knowing that percentage tells the human analyst how fast they need to run. If the confidence is 99%, you wake up the CISO. If it's 40%, you send an email to the shift lead.
And under thwart priority 1, high priority, cross-team impact.
AI attacks don't stay in their silo. They impact security teams, software teams, and third-party providers. Everyone needs to know to prioritize remediation. If your code generation AI is poisoned, your software developers need to know now, not next week. You have to stop the factory line.
Topic 10, DEAE07, cyber threat intelligence, or CTI, knowing your enemy.
This is about looking outward.
Defend is priority 2, standardization, protocols like STIX and OpenCTI.
We need machines talking to machines about threats. If a bank in London sees a new AI attack, my bank in New York needs to know about it instantly. We can't wait for a PDF report to be emailed.
No.
It needs to be a data feed that my defensive AI can ingest and learn from immediately.
But thwart is priority 1 here, and this is interesting. It specifically mentions research papers.
Yes, specifically looking for jailbreaks and prompt injection techniques from research papers.
So the bad guys are reading the academic journals?
The bad guys are absolutely reading the academic journals. In AI, the gap between academic theory and wild exploit is measured in days, sometimes hours.
That is fast.
If a paper comes out describing a new way to trick an LLM, say, by translating the prompt into Zulu, and back attackers will be using it immediately because the defenses aren't patched for it yet.
So the defenders need to be scholars. You have to read the papers to protect the system.
You have to keep up with the science to keep up with the street.
Finally, topic 11, DEAE08, vulnerability disclosure.
Thwart is priority one here again, and it comes down to one word: speed.
The text says, vulnerability management needs higher prioritization because AI-enabled attacks can exploit vulnerabilities at scale much faster than human hackers.
That is the summary of the whole problem. Scale and speed. If a vulnerability is found, say, in a popular web server, an AI attacker can scan the entire internet and exploit it everywhere before a human team has even finished their morning coffee.
The window for patching has practically vanished.
It used to be days. Now it's minutes. If you aren't automated, you are already breached.
Okay, instructor. We have unpacked Clause 2.6. We have looked at the wires, the hardware, the people, the code, and the analysis. Let's zoom out. What does this all mean for the learner listening right now?
If I had to summarize the detect function in the cyber AI profile, it comes down to this. We are building a system where we must monitor everything. The attack surface has expanded. It's not just the network edge anymore. It's the physical temperature of the GPU. It's the semantic meaning of the text going into the chat window. It's the code being written by the machine itself.
And the dynamic of AI catching AI.
Yes, we absolutely need AI to defend us. We need that speed. We cannot fight this battle with humans alone. But, and this is the so what for the deep dive, we must never take the human out of the driver's seat.
Why? I mean, if the machines are faster, why not just let them handle it?
Because of the risk of trusting the defense too much? We're entering an era where we rely on AI to check our systems, but we must constantly check the checker. We need ground truth. We need verification. We need to verify that the agent guarding the door hasn't been bribed, tricked, or just fallen asleep.
It feels like we're moving from being guards to being supervisors.
That is exactly the shift. We are the managers of a digital workforce that is guarding us.
So here is a provocative question for you to mull over as we sign off. We talked about speed. We talked about machines writing code and machines attacking at superhuman velocity. We talked about how the patch window has vanished. At what point does the human in the loop become too slow to matter?
That's the scary thought.
If the attack happens in milliseconds and the human takes 10 minutes to review the confidence score, have we already lost? And how do we design for that future?
That is the billion-dollar question, and perhaps the subject for a future deep dive.
Indeed. To our learners, thank you for stepping into the classroom with us today. Dig into Clause 2.6. There's a lot there.
Keep learning. Stay curious.
See you next time on The Deep Dive.